And we're back. I am Ryan, aka Crownson's Corner, aka the Healing Chefs. The Healing Chefs, the Healing Chef. I'm the chef. One of the chefs, because we're all chefs. So chef comes from the word chief meaning leader. So everybody that we have on the podcast, I believe, is a chief in their own right. And today's chief, or chef. Sorry, a little high. Today's chef is Rachael. Marshall. Marshall, correct? Rachael Marshall, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Rachael Marshall. There we go. Yeah, thank you very much. We've already been chatting a bit, and I appreciate you coming. Rachael is an artist, and in the exact sense, like all sorts of different things I've seen on your page, and that's exactly what drew me to you, is your art. Would you first, before we jump into any segments, please explain to the listeners, watchers, whatever they're doing, smokers along, exactly like what you do and your art and things like that.
Okay, so I've been an artist my whole life. I'd actually been making and creating anything that I can get my hands on ever since I was a child. None of my parents were artistic. They had no artistic abilities. They didn't have anything that resembled anything like that, and didn't support me in that way either. I just kind of kept on creating things as I got older. Once I moved to Arizona, I got lucky to meet a group of people, specifically this artist named Zarko, and I was drawn to him so much that I wanted to be near him, and I was like, we should just be friends.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, what's your Instagram? And I was like, whoa, for real? And he like looks at my Instagram and he's like, oh, I like the art that you do. I'll get back to you. And so he was like going through my art, looking at different like posts and liking things. And then he invited me to his studio. And I was like, okay, I'll come to your studio, come check things out. And he's like, I like your art. I wanted to show you my art studio and what I did as an artist. And he was like, we can be friends, but I want to teach you how to make masks. And I was like, I've never made masks before. He's like, I know, I've seen all your art. You make a bunch of different stuff, but I think it would be really cool to incorporate your style into the masks. And I was like, okay, I'm down to try new mediums. This will help me even like look at the art that I used to do,
Like
only in a different eye.
little MMA.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, okay, I'll do that. I wanna make masks and I wanna be your friend and get to know you and all this stuff. He goes, great, but you also have to perform in your masks at my events. And I was like, okay.
That's a lot. He threw a lot on
He
you like
did.
that.
But my parents got me into dancing when I was younger.
Okay.
So I had been performing and dancing my whole life, and he didn't know that. So it was like really interesting that it all started.
Isn't that crazy? Like you'll be doing something and then the universe speaks to you out of something and you're like, wait a minute. Like who's writing the script?
Who's writing it? Well, if I want to be honest, I kind of open myself up to it because I've experienced so much through the different type of mediums that I do that you saw has brought me a lot of experience. But I was like, universe, spirit, God, show me something else. Show me something that I wouldn't have normally do and help me open my mind to other beauty or experiences or things that like I wouldn't have normally experienced. But I'm asking you to like open my mind. I've already opened my mind a lot. So I'm like, show me something I would have never thought of going down. And a couple of months went by and so, one thing led to another. And then I found myself in the position of meeting Zarko. And so then he presented me with that, platter. Yeah. And I like, of course, it's like, yes, I want to do this. I would love to do this. So that's some of the things that you saw on my Instagram. Is that's been going on for like the last 3 years now, where I've been learning how to make masks
Yeah,
and perform in them.
it's dope. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
And
it's pretty dope.
it's actually an ancient Japanese cultural like art, because what they would do is they would go and meditate or take entheogens, which is plants that help open your mind, and then they would gather messages, and then they would make the masks that help tell their story, and then they would wear the mask and then tell their tribe or the community of the wisdom and the things that they learned from their experience.
Wow,
But if you do your research,
cool. Yeah.
so do shamans. They did the
Ah.
same thing in their tribes.
Hmm.
So it's like when you start to look at the history and like ancient medicine from different places, you start seeing kind of the same thing, but slightly different. So the masks come from a very old.
Yeah, that's really deep when you like you said, universe, God, whatever, when you let it speak, whatever it is.
Yes.
You start to see stuff, and then like adding all your like cultural and your like life experiences to the artist. I think that's what makes art.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise it would just be lines on a. I mean that's still kind of art, but awesome.
No, you're
So
right.
awesome. So we'll go ahead and jump into like our first segment, which is Cannabis Journey, which is fun. Little walk through the woods. All right. So, Cannabis Journey is all about how you found cannabis, where you're at with it now, and any cannabis news and stuff that's going on. I have some stuff to add there at the end of this segment, but yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't really start smoking consistently until I was 25. And it kind of came from some people would call a negative experience. I was in a relationship. I went into it too fast, and my dad was like, "Don't do this." And I'm like, I live on my own. I'm an adult now. I'm gonna do what I want. But I didn't say it like that. I was very respectful to my dad.
Okay.
I'm just like letting the inner voice speak on that one.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So I was in this relationship, and then, one thing led to another, and some bad experiences happened, and ended up kind of ending in a domestic dispute.
No good.
No, it was not good at all. And I already had problems sleeping like my whole life, which is I would just create things, as a person that makes stuff. If I can't sleep, I'm just gonna be, fiddling with my hands, of course. Well, you gotta sleep as a person. So I didn't know where to go or what to do, and I didn't want to go to like Western therapy because I didn't want to be put on pharmaceuticals. Since I didn't smoke weed, I was like, maybe I'll take like a hit before I go to bed. So I asked my friends, like, hey, where can I get some? Of course, I knew who to ask. And I would take a hit before I would go to bed. And it was the first time I slept all night. My whole life.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I was like,
cannabis for the win.
Right?
Yeah.
It really did. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I only used it before bed. I think it took a year for me to finally get to the point where I did the whole wake and bake thing.
Yeah. My life.
Yeah. Well, now I understand why it was such like everybody was like, oh, wake and bake, it's a thing. And I'm like, is it really a thing? Is that a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. And then I did the thing, and I'm like, oh, it's such a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they do it without it. Yeah.
And when I was younger, I was diagnosed with ADHD. So not being able to sleep and always having ADHD. And I didn't take any pharmaceuticals for that either, because they actually did put me on Ritalin. And they
Isn't that like amphetamines?
Yes, it is. It is actually speed.
Dope.
Is what it is, and they were putting children on
That would have
speed.
helped your sleep.
They over medicated me, so I was a zombie.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't talk to anybody, and I didn't have a personality, and I didn't want to contribute anything to anything. I just wanted to get what I needed done, and don't bother me. I just want to look down. Like, that's what I felt, and I was a child. So a couple of months went by, and I told my mom I don't want to do this anymore. And she was like, thank God. Because she said when I was coming off of the Ritalin that she was like, it's like demons were coming out of you. You were mean, you were angry. And I never portrayed those personality traits ever.
Wow. And yeah, that amphetamines are a motherfucker. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And
I've seen too many kids that were on it.
And I'm just glad that I was aware enough to, as a child, to talk to my parents and tell them, like, I don't like this. There's something wrong here. I don't want to do this anymore. I'd rather just be the way I was. I can handle that.
Yeah, it's creating a new problem.
Yeah, it's like I'm not a person. What if I stayed on that as a child and then going through puberty, and then now I'm 40? I wouldn't be me.
No, yeah, no. That's another thing to think about too. Is people, compromise, sometimes, but I have growing up, we're like, I start compromising here, we're gonna keep.
It's gonna keep going,
and then I'm gonna be down here and be like very not happy. So we're gonna, I kicked the pills myself. That the VA keeps trying to
put you on,
shovel towards me.
Yep.
And I'm like, absolutely not.
No.
Because I'm glad you brought up the pharmaceuticals. I've learned so much in the past like 10 years doing research on the stuff that they're trying to give me, the stuff I've been on before and everything. And so many of these different pills are just remixes of other things for different problems. And then they remix it and like, hey, does it work for this? Well, we got a study that says it does. So then they throw it out and then they make money off of it regardless. And then they come back in a couple of years and be like, hey, we fucked up. We made all that money and we killed a bunch of y'all, but here's a new one. Yep. This fixes that problem, or so on and so forth. It's just a cycle. So no, we're not doing that anymore. Trying as much homeopathic natural medicine.
So I will tell you a little backstory about myself regarding all that. Because I had that experience because of some things that I experienced growing up with my mother as well. Once I got out on my own, I actually went the Native American way to heal myself.
Okay.
To bring healing. Because there was, clearly a lot of things that I needed to work through. Okay. And I didn't want to go the Western medical route because of the experience with the pharmaceuticals.
That already didn't work.
Already didn't. Yeah. I'm like, nope, that doesn't, not going to do that. So I found sweat lodges. And honestly, that was like the best thing, because not only did it help me purge what I was carrying, it helped clear my mind and my energy to where I could feel who I truly was. And so then I learned, I'm like, this really is technology. You think it's like, you think it's a sweat lodge. You think it's branches put together with a hide and a fire. You think it's this and that and that and this. That's like organic material put together. And no, it's actually technology. It's actually a spaceship. Other things come and speak to you when you're doing sweat lodges. Not many people will talk about this stuff, but I've done it enough to know what's going on, how to do it. I actually have been doing Native American stuff for so long that I'm a silent board member of a Native American church called Aklava.
Okay.
Yes. And from doing the Native American ceremonies, it actually also split my journey up to where I'm still doing the Native American, but it pointed me towards medicine from Thailand. And I ran into someone who was a Thai practitioner and was like, hey, there are these technologies and other things. If you think this is like pretty amazing, go check this out over here. So I actually found a school, which is only like one, and it was in Florida, where I could learn Thai medicine, not Thai massage therapy, because massage therapy is massage therapy. It's just touching people. It's not medicine. You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn the real deal. So I found a place in Florida, actually became a Thai practitioner, and then became an Ayurvedic wellness counselor. And now I'm working on my doctorate of natural medicine.
Wow. That's crazy. That's a lot. That's
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, and I want to get talking about the sweat lodges here in our next segment, but before that, I do want to go over I've been talking about, and I released a couple like almost cryptic kind of posts from locals only.
Yeah.
Flow. It will be a brand, but I had a moment. We'll talk about it on the next segment. I had a trip, but I was going to jump out and grab like somebody local's rosin and start packaging it up and working stuff and stuff. But I had a moment where I had to sit back and think about the path that I was taking again, and I was like, okay, we failed at this path quite a few times. So what I'm going to do with From Locals Only is completely different. I'm going to grow and have stuff available, and eventually on the podcast, whoever comes on, I'm going to gift them things. And if you see me out or about or I'm going somewhere, I'm probably going to be gifting it out. I'm not selling anything ever. I'm not going to be doing any clandestine anything. But I am going to be trying to grow for hash and grow for terps and grow for the stuff that excites me and my friends. And what excites us used to be what everyone else used to buy from us.
Yes.
So we're just getting back into the old school stuff and just like having fun with it again. I don't want to try to turn a profit on this stuff. Again, it's for the people, not profit. I want to try to enrich the culture and community and showing them what I can do at home. And if I can do it, you can do it. There's so many people doing it now because the dispensaries have just gotten
adequate. Yeah.
It's just very clinical. That the soul is left. Everyone is almost looking the same. You walk in, it's clear colors. There's nothing really showing. Yeah. There's hanging plants everywhere. Yeah. And we're in the front of the Hilton.
Right. It's not just the same.
It's just very So we're gonna try something different. We're gonna just throw some stuff into the mix around everywhere and try to disrupt a little bit, but just to be disruptive.
I mean, we technically have the right.
Yeah, I mean, we were the ones that everyone before they were scared to even touch a pound. We were the ones with the pounds. So
exactly.
We're just trying to have fun doing what we've always done. Before social media, you can't cancel us. No, that's for sure. Like you can get accounts taken down, you can get all sorts of stuff, but you can't cancel us because my life isn't wrapped up. My ego isn't wrapped up in my Instagram anymore. I've moved beyond that. Yep. None of this stuff. So I'm happy with who I am and where I'm going. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and we'll jump into the next segment, which is Trip Tales. Do I know the name? Trip Trip Tales is all about psychedelic experiences lessons and news. Sorry, that was bigger hit than I should have taken. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, like I had a trip recently, but I want to talk about you first.
Okay.
So I'm with me all the time.
Fine.
I want to hear about you. So do you have any psychedelic experiences, or I mean, obviously with the sweat lodges and stuff, you've come and you've talking to different entities. That intrigues me a lot because when I trip very hard, I've talked to the universe or God, whatever you
Oh,
want
you're
to consider,
talking to things.
and I've talked to what I think are aliens. I'm not sure exactly, gods, aliens, us from the future, what it is, but
Yeah.
what do you what do you think? I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Like, no.
I will tell you what I think, and I'll tell you an experience at the same time. The experience will tell you what I think. How
Boom,
about that?
boom.
Yeah. We'll do 2 in 1. Being in the Native American church, there's a just in success, you want to follow certain steps to get to what you think is the top.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So with Native American medicine, they do like the same thing. It's like they teach you how to crawl, walk before you run.
Hmm.
And how you do that is through sweat lodges, because the sweat lodge brings so much wisdom that they don't need to tell you, because the technology tells you.
Hmm.
So through doing so many sweats, because they want you to do so many sweats before you start doing other ceremonies that might incorporate plants.
Yeah.
Because they want you to know who you are first and how your mind works before you introduce something that
There's
you
levels
don't
to
know.
there's levels to this
There's
shit.
levels to it, and you
Mhm.
need to do it within those boundaries,
Mm.
because you'll take something away in the wrong context because you don't know the boundaries or the steps. So you kind of bypassed all this other important stuff. So you have nothing to hold down the wisdom that you gained.
That's
You
a
don't
good
know
thought.
where it came from.
Yeah.
It's just wisping around. So I'm thankful that I did go to the native way because they did this. So when I did go into doing ayahuasca,
Mm-hmm.
it was easy for me. As soon as I drank my cup, my receptors of my doors opened right away. I was actually sitting beside someone who was a family member of someone a part of our church who was off, who's a veteran.
Mm.
And she was off doing services. And she had just come back from some services that she had done. So she had not been doing sweats. She had not been doing like the basic Native American stuff. And during the ceremony, I kind of watched her struggle, even though I was having my own experience. She was sitting beside me, so I could feel, and
Yeah.
she would talk. We were friends, so she would kind of lean in and like say something like, "Is this how this is supposed to be?" I don't know. She would.
Yeah. Starting to freak out.
Yeah, and it's like I can tell in the circle of people, like all the people I've been doing sweats with for years had no issue. They were just like flying on a cart, like on a beautiful floating feather. But the people that did not do sweats were like, you can see the anxiety, you can see the panic, you can see the questioning, and the questioning is what brings the anxiety.
It's so true in so many things. Me being a veteran, I saw it in war.
Yeah.
Like those of us that took our training very seriously,
Mm-hmm.
when stuff would happen, we would be very calm
Mm-hmm.
and move through it like checklists.
Exactly.
And they would be going,
Yes. Exactly.
just
Exactly.
yeah. So wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, um, It was interesting. So I had some of my experiences and watching them, but it didn't take me away from my experience because I had been doing sweat lodges and learned how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's how you move through it.
Yeah.
Like super quickly because you're like you don't get caught up in the things. So one thing led to another. And by the time that I kind of like hit my peak, the natives will ask you to write down questions before your ceremony and to sit with your questions before you write them down. And you do this months before you start preparing nutritionally and physically for the ceremony, because you also have to do other preparations even before the ceremony. Even though you've been doing sweats for years, there's still another preparation you should do before, like months before the time of ingesting.
Yeah.
So we're preparing questions. And of course, I had all my questions wrote out. And one of my questions was my mind. What is my mind? They say that we only use 5% in science. Which is regulated. They say that we only have access to 5% of our mind. And so there's 95% of our brain we're not using, or we're not, I don't know. There's more science to that, but that's the basic science. And I was like, part of my question was like, okay, well, what is my mind used for? What are things that are going on in my mind? Is it just me? I kind of was like, I asked more in-depth questions about myself.
Yeah. I mean,
what they showed me was that the mind is actually, you know how they talk about the universal mind in like Hinduism and Buddhism and all the Eastern like religions?
Right.
That's actually a thing. So there really is a universal mind, and then it went into something deeper. So not only is it a universal mind, but it's actually only one mind.
It's collective.
It's a collective mind.
Yeah.
It's not you have your own mind and I have my own mind.
We're just nodes to the same thing.
We're what's like the one.
So what's that Gray, the artist?
Allison and Alex Gray.
Alex Gray. I have that on my coffee table.
Nice.
Yeah. If you guys don't know, go look at a Tool album cover. That's him. But yeah, absolutely. I see that every day.
Every day, yeah.
I'm like,
yes, absolutely.
And we are all connected. Like, and it's not a bullshit.
No, it's not.
What do they call that nowadays? Wow, woo woo kind of thing. I almost call it Wawa, like that's the funny. Gas station, that's whatever. Hilarious. It's all dumb. But yeah, crazy. Okay, sorry.
So we have the same mind, but also if you read into deeper sacred texts, they talk about it being an antenna. So we have a universal mind. That's an antenna. An antenna for what and for who? Because if we have one mind, who's using the antenna? So then the medicine showed me the entities that are using the antenna.
Okay.
So it's not just your thoughts that are being broadcasted in this antenna. It's even entities that are speaking to you and also speaking to other entities through your antenna, because we're all using the same mind.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because I've had some very intense shroom trips. Whereas so this is where people may think I'm woo woo. I'm not quite sure exactly what the Earth is. Whether people, I've gone from everything from flat Earth to concave Earth to all sorts of different things. But I do know when I've been on a heavy dose of shrooms, everything gets silent. Like there's no wind. And I'm like, okay. That number one, that's really weird.
Yeah.
When your hearing goes up so much, everything's silent.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, why is it so silent? That's trippy. But then from there, I've started like feel like I'm conversing, or I hear everybody. Like, have you seen X-Men?
Yes.
Yeah, and cerebral,
Yes.
whatever it's
And you
called.
start hearing the chatter.
Yeah, I'm like, we're all
in the
talking to.
background. Yes.
I'm like, we're all talking to each other at the same time. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm like, I've been in a bathroom. Like, it's hard to tell people like when you're tripping because I see it, but I'm looking in a bathroom.
Yeah.
I see it, but I'm just like, holy shit! Like, I can hear people talking, and it's not everybody at the same time, but it's like,
You can hear the
yeah,
like a
it's
low
like, I'm like,
mumble.
everybody tripping right now. I'm
Yeah.
talking to them through the shrooms. I'm like, so the shrooms were the technology there
Yes.
that tapped me into the universe.
Yes.
Ayahuasca, DMT, which I've tried, and I
Mhm.
haven't projected because I've tried to do all this stuff by myself.
Don't do it by
Without
yourself.
without doing any preparation and everything. So when you say,
So don't do it by yourself, and it actually matters with who you do it with. And the information that they've been previously given. So if you're doing it with people that have never been given any information of sacred or ancient knowledge or how to go through those doors,
I had it in liquid form,
then your trip is only going
and
to
I
be as
dabbed.
good as the people that you're around and the information that they hold.
Yeah, for sure. Because I dabbed it, and it just scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because like everything turned into shapes and started spinning, and like I don't know how, like trying to say, like I tried to say this to people, like, what you see is a
Yeah.
flat plane in front of you. Like when you look out, like, this is all 3D, right?
And this was DMT?
Yes, but this is like everything in front of you is like a flat plane. Your visual, like if you drew it out, you drew it from this perspective, not from
Okay.
all the way around, right? Um, so all I see, all your vision is kind of 2D. But when I tripped into DMT hit, everything, all that visual just like wrapped around shapes and just
Interesting.
started was on spindles and was
Okay.
spinning. That was one time. I'm like, oh, this is reality ripping apart.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Interesting.
No. And that's when that stopped, because I dabbed it. I was out of it.
Okay.
Didn't have any more. I also wasn't going to try to reheat it or anything. And I was like, because I was scared. Second time, everything turned into a circus. Every insecurity I've ever had in my life, the elves were throwing those at me. They're like, get out of here. You're a loser. You're like, you're doing this bad or this or any insecurity that I've ever had.
They
It's just
brought
like,
it up.
they're like, get out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus fucking
Yeah.
Christ. And I went into my bed and I just like curled up, and I'm like, okay, that was bad. I'm like, it's just a drug. It'll wear off. It'll wear off. It'll wear off. But also, anytime I do that, I feel like there's an antenna that when I get that high, I'm like, the cops know. Ryan's got that high again. They got like this scale. They got this scale.
Like, we have to
And
go
they're like,
arrest
they're
him.
watching it all day. Ryan's only this high. We're good today, guys. Holy shit, he's up here. Gotta go get him.
That's so funny.
Like they have a radio antenna to my.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
So we don't get high by ourselves that high anymore. No.
I want to tell you my first experience.
Okay.
It was actually pretty amazing. I was in my bed and I was with a friend, and my friend was like, I wanted to do this, but I don't want to do this by myself. So I told him, that's fine. We can do it together.
Yeah.
You go first. Because I'm always the one going first. I didn't want to go first. I wanted him to go first since he was asking me to do it with him, and I'd never done it before.
Yeah. Is your idea.
Yeah, right? But he wouldn't. He wouldn't do it. He's like, I don't know. I'm afraid. I need someone. I need to watch someone else do it. I need to see what happens. And I'm like, this is the first time I'm doing it. And you want me to? Okay,
Shit.
fine. I'm always the first one to do everything. Let's just do this.
I would just be happy to have someone there to like watch me, so I can be
Right.
like, hey, I'm just high, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But so good. Yeah.
So we put it on top of weed. It's not what you're supposed to do. That's not how you're supposed to smoke DMT at all. In fact, you're not even supposed to put the flame to DMT.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be in a glass container with a long pipe.
Yeah.
You know, not many.
Slowly heating it up.
Anyway.
You're vaping
yes,
it.
You're vaping it. That's perfect. That's the perfect way to explain it.
Yeah.
So once I did, I pulled the covers over me and laid pulled everything up. I was like, all right, I'm ready. And all of a sudden there was like these red curtains that just went like, it felt like they were touching my face. I swear to God, like red velvet curtains. And then someone brought their hand in between the curtains, pulled it away, and literally was like, we've been waiting for you.
Oh, shit.
I was like, and I took their hand and I walked in, and I was in this beautiful mansion. And that thing that you were saying about hearing people talking in the background, I could hear that. It was the people. I saw the people. The people were in my mansion and they were talking. And the thing is, my whole life, as I fall asleep, sometimes I can hear that talking in the background. And I think there's somebody watching TV in the next room and everybody's asleep. So my whole life I've been hearing that as I fall asleep. So when people say about hearing the chatter in the background when they're tripping, and I'm like, I get that at night, almost every night. But then doing the DMT experience and then seeing that and watching that, I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And the person that brought me through the curtains and into the mansion actually was like, would you like a tour of the house? And I was like, yeah, I would love a tour of the house. So we went into all these different rooms, and then all of a sudden there was a room, but it was circular, like a sphere, but it was as big as the earth, like maybe even bigger. And then in the center at the bottom, it was like these steps that look like the Mayan temples from Mexico, the stepped temples.
Yeah.
And at the top, at the very top, where it was like, the last one was, which is smaller than the base, had 4 columns on each corner that went all the way up. And in the center of that was like this beautiful light. And this light looked like it was 2 different lights, but it was one light, and it was like moving, and it almost looked like fire. And the things that were exuding from the light was everything that was created in this world. Everything. Plants, trees, animals, houses, lights, electricity, like everything that everything that ever been existed was literally coming out of this light, and I can see all the things. And then I came back into my body, and my friend was like, what happened? Where'd you go? What'd you do? And I was like, and then I told him my experience, and he's like, okay, I think I'm ready. And so when he blasted off, he said he went to a place, but then like his experience was much, much different. Like he didn't experience what I experienced, but he did say that he went to a spherical room, supposedly, but what he saw and what was around him weren't even the same.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's wild. Holy shit. With that, I've had some crazy trips, but that's yeah, see, I really want to get to a point where I can actually finish the trip of the DMT, because I've gotten to the first stage, which is like, hey, was I always a cartoon? like, why? What's wow?
Right?
This is weird.
Yeah.
And then whoa, then we're unzipping reality.
Yep.
But then there's the next part, and I just went, no. We're just gonna zip that right back up.
No, that doesn't work.
Yeah. And I'm like, yep, nope, we zipped it up and we're good. And oh my God, closing your eyes is worse. But yeah, no. So it was definitely not mine. But thank you very much for sharing that. That's awesome. That gives me very much hope that I get to see the actual good side.
There is a good side. I've actually never experienced anything bad.
Well, I wasn't using it right.
Yeah.
I was at those times I was getting high to get high.
Okay.
And to have a trip to see cool, fun shit and have giggly, fun time. And that's not at all what that's for.
Yeah, no. That's not why I did
And that's why they yelled at me.
they did. They were telling you, like, hey, this isn't right.
Get out of here. You didn't do
But
your...
the thing is they only used...
Where's your homework?
They used yourself against you.
They did.
You brought that with you. So they got to use it because you brought it with you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm afraid of. I'm with me everywhere I go. Shit. I'm fucked, everybody.
No, you're not.
No. So yeah, but I'm definitely looking in the near or just future to trip again. I did have I made some tea this week, 4-gram shroom
Nice.
lemon juice. Let it sit for a while. Then I drank it and made a tea. Well, made like an Arnold Palmer kind of a deal with some...
You gotta make it
orange hibiscus tea. It's more of a tisane. Chef. And I saw a lot of really good visuals. At one point in time, I turned on something on YouTube and just sat there, and it was like a visual, like a journey kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I was loving it. And someone knocked on my door. I'm
no.
like, boom, went back to it. It was a good time. But also, I'm going to talk about this in our next segment, part of it. But I sat there and with the trying to grow cannabis that I'm going to do eventually. I was just looking around in my life with the trip, and it made me think of like, bro, we've done this adolescent kind of shit before where we're just having fun. And look around, you need a new bed, you need a new couch, you need new kitchen shit. Like, let's stop. Like, how old are we? Like, come on, bud.
Care of yourself.
Like, my mental and all sorts of stuff has been kind of delayed and stuff because of a shitload of traumas that I'm working through in therapy. But I am now about to turn 40, but as my therapist has said, I'm about to turn 30. So I'm working on it, everybody. But even 30, still, what are we doing? Let's get a new bed. And that's what we're gonna do. Because we're doing the right things first.
Exactly.
Setting up, do the right things, and then you can go do the good trips. All right, because I definitely want to go to Japan too.
Actually, I want to go to Japan too. So
I almost have like a pen pal there.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they teaching you things?
No,
Dang.
I haven't talked to him in a little while. He does like, he was like, I just started talking to him because he does some sort of like dancing and shit like that over there. Some crip walk.
Kind of dance?
Just crip walk
dancing?
or something. Crip walking.
Break dancing?
It's crip walking.
No.
But yeah, he does that or some stuff, and I just was like intrigued because he started following me a long time ago, and I was like, I want to know about Japan, and the English barrier is kind of rough, but yeah.
Well, I was watching documentaries recently. No, what did I say? Documentaries, YouTube, and I'm watching people from Japan talk about Japan, and a lot of them know English.
Yeah,
they just choose to use it or not.
His is pretty decent, but then we just get to a point, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not coming to Japan anytime soon, so I don't really know what else to talk about, bud. Cool. Have a good day, dude. I don't know. I don't know. I'm awkward.
I'm looking at like when are the biggest festivals are happening in Japan as an artist. I want to know,
Yeah, smart.
do the culture thing. Rap is really big in Japan right now.
Yeah,
Like
that's exactly
really
that kind of
big.
his
Yeah.
whole.
I've been listening.
His shtick.
I've been listening to Japanese rap, and it's actually really good.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. Let's go ahead and jump into our second to last segment, which is mental health as well. Let it rain on your brain.
Yes.
All right, so mental health as well. Like throughout all of this, we've been kind of talking about that kind of stuff. Me, going through my trip, realizing, okay, we need to pause on the adolescent kind of thought processes and stuff, and let's like take care of like the adult things in our life. That's a little growth for me, a lot of growth for me. But that, and I've set some goals for myself. I'm starting to look at possible 5 and 10 year plans and stuff like that. Like, wow, right? Oh my gosh. But
right?
but yeah, so how are you dealing? And then we're also, so I'm gonna get this out of the way. Said I was gonna talk about the election coming up, and everyone's losing their minds over everything. I may upset both sides, but I've never, unless I was in the army and they made me, I've never voted, because my biggest thing is it's always been pick a lesser of the two evils. I don't pick evil. So I've always, like, as much as it's been silly growing up in like the 90s and stuff, we all used to draw anarchy.
We did.
And I believe in that.
Yeah.
Not in like the purge way.
No.
But, and we can have long discussions about this some other time. But I don't believe in any of this shit. So I can't wait for this election season to be over. I'm tired of the divisiveness. I'm tired of everyone talking shit about each other. I don't like it. How are you dealing? Excuse me.
I definitely have a lot of inner thoughts about the things that are going on, but
you don't have to talk about the
well, where do I start? I see how we're in a time where people have to be very selective with their words.
Yeah.
But
especially in businesses.
But we're watching the politics talk crap about each other and be mean to each other and say choice words. But yet, if we acted like that to each other, people are going to start virtue signaling in the wrong manner. So it's interesting how in the public domain, everybody's afraid to say what they really want to say, but yet with the politics, they're just going to bash each other. But yet we're not allowed to do, not that we want to do that. No one wants to do that, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's one thing happening here, but yet there's something else happening here, but no one wants to
meet in the middle
or bring the awareness to that specific thing. Everybody just wants to be like, which side? Well, it's not about the sides. It's about what we're saying and how we're saying it, and we're not talking about that. And that's, to me, what I think is the point. And the politics are really like the characters in a play.
Yeah. They're definitely but just here to keep us all in line. And here's the biggest thing that I want people to take away from what I've said about anarchy and stuff. I want you to know that as soon as I realized that my parents, like my mom that loves me very much, loves me more than anyone in this world, lies to me or lied to me, I don't believe a fucking word none of you say. No. Like, or do I respect your authority over me, because I realize we're all the same. Yeah. So when you try to command authority over me, that's exactly when you lose me.
That happened before politics. That happened at Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So like your parents kind of always been lying to you.
Exactly. So if they're lying to me, I know for sure the people who don't give a damn about me are lying to me way more. Yeah. So
I wouldn't choose to allow my children to believe in something that they know they're going to find out it's not real later. I wouldn't do that.
Well, no,
but
I mean, but I'm just
that was
talking
a
about. I'm just even
yeah.
talking about like the little things,
Yeah.
like even I mean, I've done it to my nephews, calling like the alcohol we're drinking or the energy drinks we're
Oh yeah.
cuckoo juice.
Oh yeah.
This is cuckoo juice. This makes you go crazy. And we're lying and making up shit and everything.
Yeah.
And then they get older and they're like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
And then that's when all shit unravels. So that's kind of where
So it's like at some level.
maybe I'm still a bit adolescent rebellious again.
But you're learning.
Yeah.
We're all learning.
Yeah, I've never been, I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah.
I've never been as old as I am today ever.
We'll see.
Yeah. So
I mean, come on now.
nobody has.
And even the parents that we, or the older adults that we looked up to when we were children, we only were able to look at them through the perspectives and the experience that we had as children. So even our thought process of what we thought an adult wasn't even.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me be very clear. I love my mom very much and everything. And I love my family. But no, it's just I just like the authoritative. No. I don't abide.
No. But to go back, I'm gonna do a rewind real quick to the politics. My chemistry teacher, it's kind of funny because she was our chemistry. We were in chemistry class.
Yeah.
But what she had us do is she had us pick somebody who was in the state senate. I know, it's weird. It's a chemistry class. State senators
are nothing.
Yeah. But even then, she had us pick
Even
somebody in the office. She had us pick people in state senate. She had people like in the White House. Like she made us pick a person in each area and do a research project on them. For real. I'm not like it sounds interesting. She's not history. She's not doesn't teach about anything, but she taught about chemistry, but had us do this. So we did it. And then she had everybody out loud, come up to the front of the room and recite what they found in their research project. And after everybody stood up and talked about what they found, you saw a bigger picture. And the bigger picture was that everybody that is a politician, they own all their own businesses. So the laws that they're passing are only laws that help them with their success in the business that they own, which are mega businesses that kind of control the world and the country.
Yeah.
And so when you start to see what the laws are really made for, and they're not made for the general public, you're like, then what is politics really about?
Yeah, politicians, regardless, should have been we're supposed to be the people that were actually just regular people that just took it. Just no, they're those are career people. It shouldn't. It wasn't supposed to be a career. It was just supposed to be of the people. You come, you do your service, and then you leave. But it's not like that.
But they're not leaving.
No one's leaving. But it's all corrupt. Anarchy.
So it was kind of hard to get behind that. And since she showed us that, I'm like you, I never voted because of the things that she showed me and how she showed me what the real structure was. And she was our chemistry teacher. Yeah. So like she kind of helped wake us up, or at least the ones that wanted to be woken up. The other students kind of just like, chucked it to the side and was like, whatever, okay, I'm going to just keep on making my A's and get into be the valedictorian,
and I'm going to owe money for the rest of my life on stuff that doesn't really help me. But all right, we'll just jump into like a couple minutes on this last segment. It's just the promo segment, plug talk. Awesome. So we can continue to talk for hours. I could do this. It's awesome. This is a good conversation. I want to continue talking. But do you have anything to plug? I do want to show this. I was given this dope ass necklace here. Let me not fuck it up. slow and steady wins the race. Awesome. She is an artist and made this. This is freaking dope. And you will see this definitely on the set. Maybe sometimes on me.
Nice.
Right now, we'll put it on. That shit's dope.
Right.
Now, I can't see, so I put on the headphones. Great. My brain. Buddha, elephant.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Roll Tide. I'm an Alabama fan. Elephants. Roll Tide.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're not doing that great this year, but they're gonna do good. It's Tiger season right now. No, it's Alabama versus LSU this weekend.
Okay.
I'll be making gumbo. If
I love gumbo.
if anybody wants some, come by. I'll have a big pot of it. I'll give some away. You just want a plate? Come by. I'll throw you a plate. I don't care. Do you have anything you want to?
Oh, let's see. Like I kind of mentioned before, I'm actually an artist intern with Sarco and Culture Coalition. I've been with them for going on like 4 years. We do several big festivals that are free to the community. One of them is called Makitsli, which is the Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, which just happened like 2 weekends ago. The most amount of people that we get coming into that festival is about 10,000. Around the little numbers, 8,000 people that come through there.
Wow.
And everybody wears the masks that Sarco has made. Everybody that performs. And it's like 50 different groups that perform.
Is there one of those coming up?
It just happened, like,
Yeah.
2 weeks. It's the season. I know. And then he has another one called Mask Alive. And he encourages the community to come out wearing any and everything that they want, like as a mask. In fact, this guy, I know this sounds crazy.
I'll wear a smile.
Perfect. One of our community guys came and wore a basket. Just a flat basket that kind of had a curve around it, and he just tore 2 little openings for eyes, but the design on the basket was actually really pretty, and just put a ribbon around it and put it on his face. And I'm like, I know there's people. I put more time and effort in my mask that I'm like, this guy used a basket and put holes in it, and I love it.
It is working better.
And I was like, oh my God, this gives me so many ideas.
That's hilarious.
I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's dope.
To see what people come up with and what they wear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The mind is amazing.
It is.
Awesome. Well, we'll have to tap in when the next one is, and I'll have to show up.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
But thank you again for coming. This was very dope. And I'm sure we'll have you on here again and or being a part of something.
Oh, you'll be a part of something.
Extended, yeah.
For sure. I'm going to get you into those events and maybe get a mask on your face.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe a sweat lodge.
That too.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Do you want to shout out anybody while you're...
I think I did my shout outs.
Okay, there you go. Awesome. So I just want to shout out everybody that's been a part. Hades, Cannabis, Apothecary, Earth Rhythm, High Expectations. Good Lord. Ryan talking take 2. High Vibrations Arizona. Arise. All the homies. The merch. Big shout out to Habari Entertainment, habarientertainment.com. If you're looking to do a podcast or anything, or video recording, editing, all that kind of stuff, hit them up, habarientertainment.com. Check out the website, www.thehealingchefspodcast.com. Other than that, smoke up, trip out, tap in, smoke up, trip out. See y'all. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks.
passion, we'll find our way. From the battlefield to a brighter day. With love and compassion, we'll find